Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead. Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall. An ambush. Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome. Weakened. Monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue. Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them. Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear. A mecca of madness and morbidity. Your work begins. The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood. A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall. The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. This expedition at least promises success. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. The match is struck. A blazing star is born. Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage. Cornered, trapped, and forced to fight on. The degeneracy of the hamlet is nothing, I fear, when compared to the condition of surrounding acres. The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line? Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage. Another abomination, cleansed from our lands. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. the slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. Begone, fiend! Another one falls. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. The light, the promise of safety. A death by inches. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud. More bones. There is a great horror beneath the manor. A crawling chaos that must be destroyed. Make no mistake, we will face ever greater threats. Our soldiers must be ready. The bellows blast once again. The forge stands ready to make weapons of war. Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil. Begone, fiend! Executed with impunity. Another abomination, cleansed from our lands. The horror. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Back to the pit. Another one falls. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. As victories mount, so too will resistance. The agents of pestilence will yet be. Once, our estate was the envy of this land. They breed quickly down there in the dark. But perhaps we can slay them even faster. Fate is the weapon that cuts on its own. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Mechanical hazards, possessed by evil intent. Such blockages are unsurprising. These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers. Another one falls. Annihilated. Eradicated. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. The light, the promise of safety. Destroyed. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end. Some experiments should have never happened. You are... In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings. They breed quickly down there in the dark. But perhaps we can slay them even faster. Watch your step. If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption. Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies. Obliterated. Eradicated. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light? The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. A death by inches. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Some experiments should have never happened. You are doing just work ending them. The shadows hide the guilty and the guilt-ridden alike. A sharper sword, a stronger shield, anything to prolong a soldier's life. These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out. Another mariner, another misfortune. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. This expedition at least promises success. Another abomination, cleansed from our lands. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. As victories mount, so too will resistance. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. The pungent odor abates. The things are driven back for a time. I see something long absent in the sunken faces of passers-by. A glimmer of hope. They breed quickly down there in the dark, but perhaps we can slay them even faster. Ancient traps lie in wait, unsprung and thirsting for blood. Another one falls. Another abomination cleansed from our lands. Begone, fiend! Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. A death by inches. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. As victories mount, so too will resistance. Cruel machinations spring to life with a singular purpose. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. Their cursed champion falls. Their squeals fade. Their confidence is shaken. Surplus. A rare and wonderful thing. These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out. Another one falls. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Eradicated. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Confusion, nerves, and panic. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. Obliterated. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Impressive. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
This expedition at least promises success.
At last, wholesome marine life can flourish. If indeed... All my life I could feel an insistent gnawing in the back of my mind. It was a yearning, a thirst for discovery that could be neither numbed nor sated.
A strict regimen is paramount if one is to master the brutal arithmetic of combat.
I knew all these paths once. Now they are as twisted as my own ambitions.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Executed with impunity.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall. Another one falls. Begone, fiend!
Another abomination cleansed from our lands. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. Mechanical hazards possessed by evil intent. The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption. malformed with misintent.
Back to the pit. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Every cleared path and charted route reduces the isolation of our troubled estate.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Corruption has soaked the soil, sapping all good life from these groves. Let us burn out this evil. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Destroyed.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
This expedition at least promises success.
Another one falls. Back to the pit. Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Begone, fiend!
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. Annihilated.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
The requirements of survival cannot be met on an empty stomach.
Another abomination, cleansed from our lands. Executed with impunity. A moment of valor shines brightest against the backdrop of despair.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear. I had collected many rare and elusive volumes on ancient herbal properties, and was set to enjoy several weeks immersed in comfortable study. My work was interrupted, however, by a singularly striking young woman who insisted on repeated calls to the house. There is method in the wild corruption here. It bears a form both wretched and malevolent. Another abomination, cleansed from our lands.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Back to the pit. Success so clearly in view? Or is it merely a trick of the light? Another one falls. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Impressive.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption, malformed with misintent. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. The light, the promise of safety.
Annihilated.
Well struck. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it. Twisted and maniacal. A slathering testament to the powers of corruption. The wood is still poisoned. The way is still blocked. But less people will be eaten. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
The plume and the pistol. A fitting end to my folly, and a curse upon us all.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign. Destroyed. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear. Well struck! Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Decimated. The light, the promise of safety. The great ruins belong to us, and we will find whatever secrets they hold. Perhaps things are not as bad as they seem. Mastery over life and death was chief among my early pursuits. I began in humility, but my ambition was limitless. Who could have divined the prophetic import of something as unremarkable as a twitch in the leg of a dead rat? A devil walks these halls. Only the mad or the desperate go in search of him. Ambushed by foul invention. Another abomination, cleansed from our lands. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Back to the pit.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
Annihilated. Eradicated. Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Obliterated.
Ghoulish horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Decimated. Destroyed. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
Another one falls. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Towering, fierce, terrible, nightmare-made material. with no living sinew to actuate them. Will these walking bones finally fail?
The town is alive with wild merriment and desperate jubilation. The smell of rotting fish is almost unbearable.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood. The way is lit, the path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Annihilated.
A death by inches. Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
In Radiance, may we find victory. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. This expedition at least promises success.
Another mariner, another misfortune.
We will find all manner of great and terrible things in this watery tomb. In truth, I cannot tell how much time has passed since I sent that letter.
My lofty position wasn't always accompanied by the fear of office. And there was a time when I could walk the streets or raise a glass in the tavern without concern for molestation. Faithful as the tide, one precocious village waif made it her hobby to shadow my every errand. It was charming then, troublesome later. I always wondered what became of the unfortunate little waif. Another mariner, another misfortune.
Decimated.
A death by inches.
A powerful blow. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud. Annihilated.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Eradicated. Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. Obliterated.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born. Begone, fiend! Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall. Destroyed. A decisive pummeling. Another one falls. A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. The aquatic devils have remade the poor girl in their image. She is their queen and their slave. Hideous matriarch, vile queen of the aquatic depths. She has no place in the sane world. Any evidence of excessive exertions must be made scarce. After all, appearances must be maintained. The ways and rituals of blood sacrifice are difficult to master. Those from beyond require a physical vessel if they are to make the crossing into our reality. The timing of the chants is imperative. Without the proper utterances at precise intervals, the process can fail spectacularly. A nameless abomination. A testament to my failures. It must be destroyed. executed with impunity.
Another one falls.
Another abomination cleansed from our lands. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
It is
A travesty, a blundering mountain of hatred and rage. The thing is even more horrible in death. Liquefaction cannot come soon enough. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end. The poor kid.